I think it's an undeniable fact that the AAA video game industry is in a bit of trouble right now. What I didn't know before, and what I have just come to realize these past few days, is I think that they realize it too. Before, I was under the belief that the AAA video game industry was under some sort of delusion that they were untouchable, unstoppable, that nothing could dethrone them from the pedestals that they had put themselves on. Given events that have happened just in this last week, I think that they know that they're in a whole lot of hurt and that 2019 is going to be a very painful year for them. And these are just things that have just happened all almost at once. And these are signs that should be taken very seriously, that lead me to believe that they know they're in pain and they're doing everything they can to get out of it, no matter what that takes. The first thing that I heard that this has happened in the time span of 1 week. Activision fired their CFO, that's Chief Financial Officer, the guy in charge of money. People were thinking that that was because, oh, well, look at Activision's stock. No, they ended up all but directly saying later on that it was because he was looking for work elsewhere and his contract said, no, you can't do that, so they fired him for breach of contract. And then a couple days later, it was confirmed that Netflix ended up taking him. Now, a CFO trying to get the fuck out is a bit of a bad sign for you. But that can be just seen as a coincidence. Executives want to change places all the time. That's no big deal. In that same week, the Blizzard CFO that Activision put there quit. So you have Activision's own CFO and Blizzard's CFO both quitting in the same fucking week. Or I should say Activision's got fired, but Blizzard's just straight up quit. Two different CFOs for the same company, both getting the fuck out at the same time. You don't have to be Nostradamus to see that's a bad sign. And I think that Activision is well aware of this. They have been doing whatever they can to try and piece together any money to try and get their finances up in any degree, because the investors are none too happy with what's going on right now. And I will use this as yet another example. This is why you should run a company for the consumer, not a company for investors. It's gotten to the point where they are, as DLC in Black Ops 4, selling for $1 a fucking red dot. Desperation has never looked so hilarious and pathetic. Then you have Bethesda, a company that released what not only many are considering the worst game last year, at least from a AAA perspective, but what many are considering the worst AAA game of all time. A game that week after week keeps bringing out some sort of new controversy or new just fuck up that should have been just so easily avoided, but Bethesda didn't give a shit. They thought that they were just going to rake in money and the modders would be there to fix it, except that they're banning modders. Oops. But no, this is just a gigantic steaming pile of garbage, and it's hurt them. really badly. It has hurt Bethesda to the point where there are now rumors circling around that because this game did so bad and the investors are so pissed off, they are going to have to release Elder Scrolls 6 this year. For a bit of perspective, at E3 and in post E3 interviews, they said that they didn't expect Elder Scrolls 6 to hit until 2021. They are in such desperation mode right now because of the massive failure that was Fallout 76 that they are going to release an Elder Scrolls games that are already notoriously buggy and broken when released 2 years fucking early. Yeah, that's not going to go over well. If big if that does happen, this might be what kills Bethesda. I don't see how a company as big as Bethesda can take a loss of that magnitude twice in the time span of a single year. It just it makes no sense. And I've seen bigger companies fold under less. Then just to finish off our wonderful journey of shit, you have EA while just being EA. Week after week, EA's stock continues to overall drop. For the past 6 months, this has been the case. You'll have some points where it flatlines or maybe goes up just a minor margin, but then whoop, right back down the shitter again. Every time they open their mouths, every time they do something. It's been amazing to watch just EA plummet so painfully. And EA, more than any other AAA company, knows that they are just absolutely despised. EA is the punching bag of the AAA industry. They know what this kind of shit just does. And they've taken this so long and they've experienced this so many times. You'd think that they would have some sort of knowledge of what to do, what not to do, how to handle things better. Battlefield 5 showed no, they don't. Not at all. But I think what's really going to hurt them is when Anthem releases in February. People are already very, very nervous about Anthem. People are already speculating that it's going to fail to the same level that Destiny failed. And all the signs are there. EA is treating Anthem like it is Destiny, even to the same degree of the 10-year plan. Oh, that worked out really well for Activision, didn't it? Unless something really strange happens and Anthem ends up turning out to be this gigantic AAA monster that EA needs, this is going to hurt them once again, and their stocks are going to continue to just plummet, just free fall to oblivion. I've never seen the AAA industry in this much of a hurt. Now, this isn't like 1983 levels of hurt. See, 1983 was its own unique beast. So whenever someone says the video game crash is coming or the video game crash is here, people always point back to 83 as the example because that was the big one for gamers. That was a very unique beast that I don't think can ever be recreated because that was when the video game industry was a lot more just self-contained. It was smaller and it was dependent on one or two really big companies and everyone else just existing alongside that. These days you have a lot of side things, you have a lot of different divisions, you have a lot of different countries. There are so many different paths that the gaming industry can take right now that a crash like that, like in 83, is basically impossible. That said, I think we are experiencing a video game crash right now, at least on the AAA end of things. And I think that they are aware of this too and are doing everything they can to stop the free fall, which might end up making it worse. What they're doing right now is trying to build up to stop the bleeding. And by them just trying to stop the hemorrhaging, they're basically, instead of wrapping a bandage around it, they're taking a sledgehammer and just hitting themselves over and over again, hoping that if they just beat on it, maybe it'll stop. That's not a good idea. I would like to be wrong here, and I would like to think that this is just a really weird thing that's happening all at once, and then it's going to turn out to be nothing. But the signs are there. If you know anything about the economy, if you know anything about history, if you know anything about patterns that happen with corporations, this seems too much happening all at once and too big things happening all at once for it to be just a weird coincidence. Uh, this is probably going to have lasting effects up to 2020, 2021, somewhere in that ballpark. We're going to see a lot of companies close down. I think the big names themselves will still be fine-ish, but they're going to be a big change, and we're going to see a lot of different things happen. It's going to be very interesting to watch, and I have no clue exactly what's going to happen. So I'm looking forward to seeing what goes on, what kind of changes take place, what effects happen. And if I'm wrong, oh well, it was fun to speculate. This has been Math Machine, looking forward to the great gaming crash of 19. I'm pretty sure that's what they're going to call it because creativity is dead. Hey, at least they got that in common with the AAA gaming industry. Peace out.